Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Dad Batch Podcast, episode 120. Welcome to the YouTube live show. You did it. You made it. You're here. We want to see you again, so be sure to hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. Just ring that bell to get notified for when we go live and post new content. And of course, feel free to use that super chat button, and perhaps Raimi will read your comment live on the show in the voice of Argentinian John. My name is Stevie Kicks, and I am one of your three hosts today. And with us, as always, the other Dad Batchers, your space daddies. First up, he's the specialty costume manufacturer, painter, and Mon Calamari dignitary, John Rodriguez. How are you, man?
Great. How are you guys?
John the Mon, hashtag canon.
Yeah. It's real.
I love it, dude. How are you?
Excuse my voice. I'm a little under the weather. Caught something from the kid probably.
Well, you know, the air quality is
and the
horrible.
air, yeah.
Like, you are literally smack dab in the middle between the two fires, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, but it's like literally you're literally like the meme, you know, where everything's burning, the both of you.
Yeah,
everything's burning
beside
you, and you're just like, everything's fine. I'm fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we weren't we were close in proximity to the fires.
Yeah.
But we weren't, I guess, directly in its path to say it one way. Yeah.
Right.
But we're good. We're good.
It gets pretty crazy and scary, but I'm glad you're safe. You're okay. You guys are good.
All good. Yep.
Good.
Thank you.
Next up, the commanding officer of the 501st Legion's Southern California Garrison and part-time firefighter. He puts out like IT fires and work fires and social fires. And
that's true. Although I am repping the
Raimi Shanaday,
the Skywalker Ranch Fire Department.
I saw that. I should have grabbed mine. Yeah. How are you, man?
I'm good. It's good to have you back.
I know.
You
guys were like, okay, I try and like schedule the pods so that we can all take some downtime.
I know.
At the end of the year with Chrome Tono and Ornament, it gets crazy.
We were getting twitchy though. We wanted to talk.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Not much.
A little bit.
Not much. No, you guys are right. There is a lot going on. So tonight, just to read what we have going on, we're going to talk some updates that have been going on. We'd be remiss if we don't talk about it, but we live in Southern California, the three of us. And it's crazy what's going on. And so we're going to talk about the fires. We got Workbench coming up tonight because I know you guys have been busy. Skeleton Crew. We've got the Skeleton Crew season 1 finale. We're not going to call it series finale. We're going to call it season 1 finale. And use the secret. We're going to put it out there. And we're going to talk some Star Wars news and just see what's been going on, guys. So, okay. We got to talk about fires. So, I personally know a handful of people who have been directly affected by the fires. The Palisades fire, the Eaton fire. And it's been scary. You know, it's when you can't get a hold of people. You know, I know that Raimi, you had power issues or internet issues, right?
I was in a weird spot. Yeah. And so I found out a little bit after the fact what had happened there. So, because I got, and it's funny because it was days after that it had finally come back on that I got the email like, oh, by the way, your internet's back on. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. Thanks. So they had proactively turned the network off. And Steven, you'll understand this because you and I both work in IT. So what had happened was I'm on Spectrum Internet, which is Charter Communications behind the scenes, right? So like their network, it's all interconnected and they go up into the area that was impacted by the Eaton fire, which at that point in time was actually I mean, and John knows this. It wasn't going to get to us, but it was in fact heading this way.
Hmm.
It got to a point where it was sort of on the other side of the freeway from here, and
Yeah.
it was going to stop because there was nothing but like concrete between here and there, so it wasn't going to keep going. But it
But
did get to that point.
that's the thing. It's like there's freaking fire tornadoes.
That's
And
also
like,
true. You know, you fan it with
And
80
the
mile an
embers.
hour winds, and
Yeah.
even cement will burn.
yeah.
So, but it had gotten to that point where it sort of hit the intersection where a couple freeways meet, not terribly far from where we live. And so the network was obviously burning on that side of the road. And so when they started having network cell issues there because their network was falling apart on that side of the road, they started shutting the internet down over on this side of the road just to keep the network from blowing out. So they were doing proactive shutdowns of their service, which impacted me. So I had no internet for a few days, and I was just, my phone worked fine. It was different company and everything, so it's not like I was completely off the grid. But I'm talking to work. I'm like, well, geez, I'll do what I can, but I'm kind of stuck. I didn't want to go to work and leave because I at least wanted to be able to be around to keep an eye on things.
Hmm.
And so, I was just doing what I could.
John, were you guys getting evac notices, or I mean, were the kid was your kid in school, or what's going on?
No, yeah. So there were high winds right before the fire. Like there were already high winds, and the night of the fire, I guess, the winds were like 80 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour. I don't know. Our windows were shaking like crazy. We thought they were going to break. And because of those anticipated winds, Amy already didn't have school.
Yeah.
Which is the weird. I've lived here 30 years. I've never seen a school or a district close for wind. So it was gnarly. It was super windy. But that next morning, we woke up, and it should have been daylight out, and we looked out the window and it was pitch black, and we're like, "What? Like this is weird, you know?" And as I took the dogs out, I actually made a video and I had it on a story on Instagram, and it was daylight, 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 and then it was literally like Arabian Nights, just
Night.
like pitch black. And it was just smoke that went as far as the eye could see, and you could see where it was starting. It was over the hill, like Rami was saying, it was over the hill from where we lived, or from close to where I live. And we're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god! And we were watching the news and everything, and yeah, I and like Rami said, we weren't as close to it because there's a freeway and then there's concrete, and which can still be crazy, but it didn't come as far to us. But plenty of people affected. My neighbors have kids that live like in the Pasadena, Montrose, La Crescenta, La Cañada area. They all had to evacuate. We got evacuation warnings,
Yeah.
which is like stay on your toes. Like at any moment, we might escalate the rating or whatever. But they never did. So
Yeah.
we were good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We got the warning that said get ready, but never like they have like a whole system like get ready, get set, go.
Yeah.
We got the get ready, but never the go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
It was like I think it was literally evacuation warning or yeah, it wasn't like whatever, you get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, scary
Scary
stuff.
stuff, guys. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys are safe. I do have a friend who unfortunately lost everything. But he and his family haven't even been let back in to see the
see.
damages. I know our buddy Jason, he's been affected as well, and he's in a very similar situation where he can't even get into the property because the National Guard, I think, is still got everything on lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah. His house is there, but he can't get into his neighborhood because the National Guard is because they've got looters and stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's houses, some houses are there and some houses aren't. And like they haven't assessed which ones are safe and which ones aren't. And so, until they clear the street and make sure that like they know what's safe and what's not, nobody gets in.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Rami, do you have stats on? I know you're
I do.
you're all about numbers.
I'm a data guy, right? Okay.
Here's the graph.
All right, so I'm only going to focus. There have actually been several fires. What you're seeing on the news is largely the two big ones, right? So
We're gonna get to Star Wars, everybody.
we
Just-
will.
Don't leave.
There really, and this is not to downplay the fact that there was damage and destruction from the other fires. There's more than just these two, but the reality is what you're seeing on the news is the two biggies, right? So there's the Eaton fire, which is over like in kind of the Pasadena area and Altadena, and then the Palisades fire, which is like Pacific Palisades and Malibu by the beach and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So all the stats that I've got are combined. I'm not going to break it apart because that would just take too long. So the two fires so far have consumed over 40,000 acres. To date, we know of at least 24 people that have lost their lives, but an additional 100,000 people have been evacuated. We know of an estimated, and these are like, honestly, I'm kind of rounding some of these numbers down. Jason and I were doing some homework trying to corroborate some of these numbers. And so like a couple of these are sort of conservative. There's an estimated over 10,000 homes and businesses believed to be lost. So the Eaton fire is currently only 45% contained. And the way the wind is blowing on that one right now, it's kind of blowing away from homes and stuff like up into the mountain. So as long as they keep it under control and like at least on a downward trend, that one's going to, be on a downward trajectory. So that's good. The Palisades fire though is only 19% contained, and it is still basically surrounded by homes. So that's the one to keep watching. Fire teams have a long road ahead. So
That's insane.
yeah. So, on this note, Mike Forrester and I were talking, as we do. We realized it was time to mobilize the troops again. So just not quite ready to make official announcements yet, but the Dad Batch, our friends at Thank the Maker, Mosh Isley, along with a lot of the names that you guys know from projects like the Chrome Tono and Ornament Project, we are cooking something up. All I can say so far is that it'll be a bit of an art project. We've got things that are going to be announced officially this Friday, so stay tuned. And this is going to be our most ambitious project yet.
Oh, geez. Well, anything that we can do to help out. I mean, even if we, don't directly contribute to the art project ourselves, anything that we can do definitely to help. Yeah, for sure.
Yep, we'll all be involved in boosting the signal. So
yes, like Steph says in the chat, get your wallets ready and be sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube, and make sure you follow us on the socials so that you can get those updates.
Yeah, and sorry, just to bring it back, like the reality is this, the world has its short attention span. In a few weeks, when the news finds the next headline, this is not going to be in the news anymore. They're predicting that this is going to be a $250 billion hit to the community. So we're also looking at several ways for people to contribute. Like, yes, this is an art project, and you can probably connect the dots at how this is going to kind of look when we're ready to announce it. But we are looking at many different ways for people to be able to contribute. So there's going to be many different entry points to this, and we're also looking at ways for it to be kind of an ongoing effort, so that it's not just we do the thing and it's over and then everybody forgets, right? Like, this is not going to go away. So we're going to try and make sure that this thing can stick around, because the problem is going to stick around.
Yeah, I mean, and that brings up a good point too. It's like, there's been plenty devastating things that have happened recently. I mean, we were just a few weeks talking to Brian about all the devastation in North Carolina, and his community is directly affected as well. And we don't want these things to get lost in the news cycle, right? It's something that needs to always have constant community effort. And what better community than this one that we've been a part of for years, and our space fam, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's talk about something a little bit different. Guys, Skeleton Crew is okay. We'll get into the review later, but just guys, I watched Skeleton Crew with my kids last night, and okay, first thing my youngest says is, before it starts, he's like, "I'm telling you, this is going to be the shortest one." He's like, "This is the shortest one." He's like a grumpy old man. But man, they just loved it. And then by the end of the show, they were just like clamoring for more. I mean, I think we all were, right? But I'm really happy about the reception that Skeleton Crew has gotten this season. What do you think, John? What do you think, John?
My bad. I absolutely love this show. I don't really have any critiques or complaints or anything like that. I feel like it built up really well. And I feel like, I mean, there's plenty more we want to know, right? I want to know more about Jod, and I want to know what happens next because they left it on a cliffhanger,
They did.
you know, and it could go many ways.
They left it open in good ways. I think
You
they
know,
handled
yeah.
it perfectly.
Because he can
Perfectly.
hide, he can't really escape, but he could hide, or I guess the barrier's closed now, so or destroyed, so he could fly away somehow, or they catch him and they jail him, or because now what's gonna happen with that Atten? You know, it's exposed.
Hmm.
Where's all that gold
Yeah.
gonna go? That's what I want to know.
That's a lot. Yeah,
Republic's gonna come in and like just take
they
it.
like taxation. Yeah, boom,
Yeah.
take that out.
No, they're gonna be like, oh, this is ours.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but honestly, like it's like you inject that much money into an economy, and like it actually isn't necessarily a good thing. Like you can't just make money. Like
Yes, you can.
Right. Well, we're going through some
well,
of that.
you can, but
in
it
real
doesn't
life.
necessarily.
Have-
It's not necessarily healthy, right? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't like quite work that way. So
But it was a mint though. It's like a supply for when they need to do whatever. I don't know.
sure. But
You know. But yeah,
I'm just if there's one takeaway from
Scrooge McDuck.
if there's one takeaway from this show that I'm just the most happy about, believe it or not, it's the merchandising. I am so happy that I walked into a Target the week before Christmas and I saw Skeleton Crew action figures, pop Funko
Funkos.
Pops for Skeleton Crew, like fully stocked on the shelves. Like to me, that was, I mean, the timing might have been a little off because it's like, man, I wish they had like started the show maybe a little bit, maybe a couple weeks before
Sooner. Yeah.
Yeah, just so that, you know, like the timing could have been a little more perfect.
It was too tight. Yeah. Yeah. It was too tight.
Yeah. And then plus like, man, okay, we'll get into all that stuff, but I'm just somebody at Lucasfilm, Disney, they're paying attention, they're listening. It's soaking in a little bit. They're like, oh, people want merchandise for the stuff we come out with.
At the time, yeah, because that's where Deadpool and Wolverine messed up because we still don't
Yeah.
have those figures.
Yeah.
And that movie came out.
Well,
you know,
what was
however
the
long ago.
last Disney Plus show to come out?
Show
Acolyte, right?
Acolyte. Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't seen many of those figures either.
What was the guy's name? The Stranger?
The Stranger.
Yeah, that his helmet, which is probably the coolest thing out of that whole show, right? Still on pre-order, still due out this year.
Bro. Nah. Yeah.
Jason's asking if we had seen the prototype school jacket that Vince at KT showed. I keep
What?
tripping. So keep tripping.
School jacket that Vince.
The school jacket. So keep trooping the guy that makes the boots.
Mhm.
That all the TKs get.
Okay.
I guess he's making a prototype. Or he's got
Oh,
a
so he's
prototype of the
making a
school
jacket.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Sick. Those are rad. The one that not
Probably
What's
the
her
one
name?
that Fern got.
Fern wears. Yeah, that's right. I was like, not KB. Yeah,
That'd be
there were a lot
cool.
of good moments too.
Other than Skeleton Crew, what are you guys watching? You guys watching anything this week?
Oh,
I haven't been watching anything, but did you guys know that they re-released both Portal games for the Nintendo Switch?
oh,
I love those games,
I never played
and-
those, but
and I don't had like they were never on the PlayStation, I guess you can get them to work on the newer Xboxes, but I don't have one set up right now. But they're on the Switch now, so I've been playing through those.
sick.
Those are good.
I remember when those came out, and it's all like physics, right? It's like you have to figure out how to
It's-
put things a certain way for them to fall. And
Yeah, they're like a puzzle. They're like a first-person shooter as far as gameplay, but they're puzzles. Like each level
Right.
is a puzzle. Like you've got to puzzle your way out, and like there's some shooter aspect to it. But
it's like a
yeah,
brain game, though. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You've got to think through the physics of
that's rad.
the game.
I haven't really been watching much, but like Raimi, I've been playing video games as well. I when Marvel Rivals came out, I tried it and I wasn't too hot on it. I'm not very good at the Overwatch style games, and maybe I didn't give it enough time. But yesterday I played with a couple buddies, Julio and Adriel, and we actually kicked butt, and we were pretty good. And I think I found my main now, and because all the players have roles and stuff. So I don't know. It was fun. That game's pretty fun. I don't know if anyone else is playing it, but it's free.
No, my kids. Yeah, my
Your
kid is
kids,
like,
yeah.
he's just nuts on that game. I think his main is I want to say Thor or Iron Man, and he's got it like he's like he just goes in there.
Iron
and he
Man's dope. Oh,
what is
Thor
it?
too, though.
What
They
is it
fly
called?
it.
MVP? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I
Like
played 3 times. so-
every round has an MVP.
Yes, yes.
he's getting it every single
He's
time.
always the MVP. Damn.
Yeah,
so
and I'm
he's
just
good.
like, jeez, yeah. I go in there and I just die.
Well, yeah. Well, I figured out how to play a little bit with Loki because he's a healer, but you can like project illusions and put yourself in different spots, and people think that's you. Or when you shoot them with whatever, it also shoots from those guys too, so they don't know where you are. So I've been having a lot of fun with that and basically tricking people to think and then you can switch spots with them, like snap your finger and you go there. So I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Don't you have a Loki costume?
Not costume. I have like the horns and the dagger and.
Dude,
That's
have
it.
you not built Loki yet?
Yeah, I should do some sort of Loki. I'll just
Should
get
do like
a dress shirt and some khakis.
do a Loki John Wick mashup.
I want to
That's
make
Loki with a gun.
I want to make the TVA shirts because
Oh.
The dress shirts,
the cut on that dress shirt is sick
they're
because
very nice. Yeah.
the collar is part of the
Comes up.
entire shoulder yoke. It comes all the way out as one piece. I love it.
They're very sharp. Yeah, I like it.
I've-
I have the fig somewhere.
I've tried to figure out the pattern for that shirt.
TVA is going to be very instrumental to the Marvel
Mhm.
universe going forward. So yeah, I
Yeah.
would definitely recommend that. And then John can just do Loki, TVA Loki. You got the hair going.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I've been watching. So I picked up a new show on Apple TV Plus. It's called Silo. Have you guys heard of this?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's
but I've heard good
starring Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, I've seen that. I saw the trailer. Like it's on like the homepage of Apple TV right now.
It's
It
so
looks
good.
interesting.
It's very good. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the original story of the original book it predates Dune and Star
Cool.
Wars and all that stuff. So it's
Silo?
it's been updated for our
For
modern times.
Modern times. Okay.
But yeah, it's very good. It's the premise of the show is that it's a community of 10,000 people that live in an underground silo that's over 120 levels. They don't know how they got there because they've been there for over 200 years. All they know is that there was some sort of war above ground, and that's where they ended up. So
It's almost like a City of Ember kind of a thing too, because that's kind of the premise of that.
it's like that with a little bit of what is that show on Amazon with the big mechs? They're in the vault. John, they're in the
What?
Vault Boy, Pip Boy.
Fallout.
Fallout. Yeah, it's very Fallout, Ember, City of Embers. Yeah, but it's good. I highly recommend it. I'm halfway through the first season.
Oh, you know what I did watch? That I hadn't. I might have already talked about it. I think Romulus. Did I talk about that last week? Raimi?
Oh,
I might have mentioned it.
I think you did. Yeah,
My
yeah,
memory's
yeah.
bad. Okay, yeah.
You did
Last week,
But 2 weeks ago. When was it? Yeah,
Oh,
2 weeks
I
ago.
was-
2 weeks ago.
Jeez.
We haven't done a show with
Just-
everyone in over a month.
Just because you weren't here, Stevie, doesn't mean it didn't happen, dude. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
it happened, bro. It happened. It happened. Oh, you know what I have been watching on Amazon? Amazon has like the weirdest, like most obscure niche.
You find the most
Dude,
weirdest.
hold
Yeah,
obscure-
John is good at finding some of that stuff.
So, Painting with Fire. Hold on. So there's these like old cartoons that are sort of like heavy metal style, like that magazine, Heavy Metal.
Oh
where it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
insane like fantasy art and like Mobius and stuff. Like it has insane art, and basically there's a movie called Fire and Ice, and it's like an old '80s cartoon. It's like from '83 or something, and it's like I think they rotoscope the people, so it's like the movements are real, but it's all animated over. So it's like funny movements, and the acting's poor, and so it's like this weird fantasy like Dungeons and Dragons movie, Fire and Ice. If you guys want to watch it, or maybe we'll do a Hunter's Hard Drive one of these days.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna
I've
need
been
to
watching
do that.
I've been watching
You know,
those.
you know what constantly appears on my my Amazon feed, like on my front page, is that
What?
crazy samurai thing that you had us watch.
Oh, that
300.
movie sucked.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! But it won't leave me alone. It's like, would you like to watch me again?
But you have to. Oh, again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Oh,
Sorry about
God.
that.
All right, guys. Well, let's get into it. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. If you'd like to show your support for the show, pick up an exclusive family reunion T-shirt and some Dad Batch stickers at thedadbatch.com.
We're being hailed. This encryption's new. This might take a while.
I was not ready to talk about this, and maybe we won't. But speaking of family reunions, Steven's shaking his head. Okay, never mind.
Oh
we
no,
won't.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, speaking of family reunions, and just gonna throw it out there. And if anybody's gonna be going overseas to any kind of convention that's maybe Star Wars related this year,
Get that shirt now.
there might be a reason why you would want to get that family reunion shirt and have it with
Oh.
you for said convention overseas.
Does no one
this
know?
year. We haven't said anything
No one
officially
knows? Oh, man.
about it yet. And I mean, hypothetically
need
speaking,
a-
if we had gotten an official confirmation email from the company that runs the convention, like that would have been a really big deal. And like, we'd be like really excited by that. And we'd be like super stoked to talk about it. And we would definitely be talking about it on the show. And like, so
here we are talking
Like-
about it on the show.
So again, like hypothetically, if we had gotten like a confirmation email congratulating us on being selected to be part of the convention in any
You'd
kind
be
of
hearing
official
about it.
capacity, we would definitely be announcing it. And I'm not saying we would have announced it yet, but we would definitely be announcing it at some point. So, but again, that
Who
family
knows?
reunion t-shirt that Stephen was talking about, if we made an announcement about that, you would definitely want to have that shirt ready to go. Just saying.
I think there's an exclusive one popping up. What's the day that this pod comes out? Thursday?
It would be tomorrow, January 16th.
Yeah. There might be one in a different language that's exclusive on the store.
That would be
Oh.
very, very timely, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We'll see.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. And May asked about WonderCon. I will say that is not the con that I was talking about because that one's not overseas. However, I will say that I have submitted the paperwork for that and I haven't heard back. So I'll let you know, May. You'll be one of the first to know.
We'll see.
But I did fill out the paper. Oh, Emily asked you. I have filled out the paperwork for that. And yes, some of the people in the chat are guessing correctly. We will announce that very soon. All right, news. I guess I got myself sidetracked because I got
Yeah,
excited.
it's you.
All right. Yeah. Okay, cool. It's award season. So lots of announcements, nominations, and some awards are coming out. So congratulations to the team behind the score for Star Wars Acolyte. They got a nomination for Outstanding Original Score for Television and Motion Picture at the NAACP Image Awards. So the 56th annual NAACP Image Awards will be taking place on February 22nd. And will air live on BET. I'll keep an eye on that, and I will report back if they won. Speaking of awards, I'm continuing on. Congratulations to Warwick Davis for being awarded the prestigious BAFTA Fellowship Award. So the British Academy's highest honor at this year's EE BAFTA Film Awards, which will be held on February 16th at the Royal Festival Hall. So the 54-year-old Davis has most prominently been known for being in Harry Potter and Star Wars, but has hosted the ITV game show Tenable since 2016. Worth noting that Davis is the founder of Willow Management, which is an agency dedicated to representing actors both under 5 foot tall and over 7 feet tall, which I did not know that, but I thought that was interesting. So congratulations, Warwick. And he's also usually very prominent at celebrations, so I'm sure anybody that's in attendance will see him around. ILM and its subsidiary ILM Immersive have been nominated for not one, not two, but 19 different awards at the 23rd Annual Visual Effects Society Awards. So for reference, ILM Immersive was formerly known as ILM X Lab, which is the division behind the Void VR experience, like the one that you could go to like in the mall and stuff, where you like put the harness on and everything and go like play as a stormtrooper.
Those are fun.
If you've ever done that, those are cool. And if you do that like with friends that are into Star Wars, like those are so cool. And they've got other ones too that are not just Star Wars. They've got
The Alien one was amazing.
yeah, like if you go into a part like one of the rooms like where there's fire or something, like
Yes,
there's literally
yes.
like heat
That's
blowing
the
on
Alien
you.
one.
And like sometimes there's stuff where like you can sit down and you go to sit down on it, like there's literally something there in the room that you can sit on. And like there's guns on the wall and you go to pick it up and like there's a gun there for you to like grab and pull off the wall, and then now you can start shooting. It's like, very well done.
Oh, I did the one where they had it was like us versus Vader,
Yeah.
and then at the end there's like in the virtual thing there's an astromech droid in front of you, and then you put your hand out to touch it, but in real life there's a real astromech droid there. So like you're like, what the heck? Like, it's trippy.
Yeah, there's really stuff there, like, and you can move around and touch, like you can bump into stuff in real life and everything. So ILM X Lab is now called ILM Immersive. But they also are the team behind the VR video games like Vader Immortal and Tales from Galaxy's Edge, which you can do on the like commercial VR headsets that you can do at home. So the awards for projects including Skeleton Crew, Wicked, Gladiator 2, and ILM Immersive's work on What If? An Immersive Story. So the VES Awards recognize visual effects, artistry, and innovation in features, animation, television, commercials, games, and new media. So ILM's specific nominations in film and television categories include their work for Twisters, Transformers 1, Ultraman Rising, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and Lord of the Rings of Power Season 2. ILM Immersive's nominations were for What If? An Immersive Story, and I guess at D23 they had like a real-time rocket experience thing that was there for attendees. In addition to these, ILM received nominations in several other categories and projects, including the photorealistic views of Rome that appeared in Gladiator 2, as well as creating the Emerald City in Wicked, which I actually saw over the holidays. Did either of you guys go see Wicked? It was actually pretty, like, I know it's not necessarily like a stereotypical like guy thing, but it was actually very well done. So,
I enjoy musicals.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. So, and the Emerald City scenes were very technically impressive. So they also have nominations for various work for Alien Romulus, John, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Venom: The Last Dance. So that's all I had for the awards ceremony or awards season stuff. We had talked a while back about the John Williams special that was released in theaters and is now on Disney Plus. Very good. I'd recommend watching it. There's also a new John Williams related special on Disney Plus that I didn't even know existed until it showed up, called John Williams in Tokyo. So he is conducting the Saito Kinen Orchestra. It's almost 2 hours long, 1 hour, 49-minute runtime for the concert. The concert starts out with some very specific pieces that Williams actually wrote for Seiji Osawa, who was the guy who brought Williams into the Boston Symphony Orchestra back in like the 80s. So they're pieces that you've probably never heard before. They're not from a musical, like they're not from a film score or anything like that. They're very distinct, separate pieces. But because of the time, like we looked up when they were written, and they were like written kind of at the same time that he would have been working on Harry Potter. And so like, if you know that, they do have like, you could almost be like, oh, these kind of sound like Harry Potter. And then you look at the year they were written, and you're like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense because it was about the time you would have expected him to have been writing Harry Potter. So they would sound like they would fit straight in on the Harry Potter soundtrack, but they were written for Seiji Osawa, who was, again, like the guy who brought him into the Boston Symphony Orchestra. So Seiji Osawa conducted the Boston Symphony Orchestra from 1973 for 29 years before Williams actually took over. And then he moved on and founded the Saito Kinen Orchestra in Japan in 84. He died actually last year in February of 2024. So started watching it. Super, super good. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So I have a bit of a bone to pick with the ratings companies.
Like
These are the,
Tomato, like Rotten Tomato.
well, the data companies that provide the ratings numbers that get picked up and used all over the place. So I don't actually know who provides the Rotten Tomatoes scores. I actually think they're probably sophisticated enough that they do it themselves. I don't know.
You mean
for a
like
fact.
Nielsen?
Nielsen's one of the two that I've got a bone to pick with here. And now they are actually one of the more reputable of the two, I think, because they've been around for freaking ever. Like
Yeah.
Nielsen used to literally like put boxes on people's TVs. Like they've been around forever. The big two are Nielsen and a company called Luminate. Luminate is the data provider that's behind the more prominently recognized name of Billboard. Like that's the name people I think would like, the Billboard top 10 or whatever. Right. So Nielsen, they put a little more diligence into their numbers. And because of that, they've got a much longer delay in the reporting. So like, for example, like right now, Nielsen's only reporting on like Skeleton Crew's week 2, whereas Luminate's all the way up to week 6, as far as like weekly streaming minutes. And the number that they like to report on is like the number of minutes in a given week that the streaming, that the show was streaming. That said, I mean, the two data providers have the show, like neither of the two data providers have the show in their top 10 listings, despite the fact that the Star Wars fan base having largely universally positive things to say about the show. Now, let's look at the numbers. So I've got the Nielsen ratings here up on my screen. So I wasn't set up to share anything. I probably should have gotten a little more ready for this, but like going down the list, Nielsen, Red One. Okay. Carry On, Black Doves, It Ends With Us, Bluey, No Good Deed, Landman, Grey's Anatomy, Bob's Burgers, Family Guy. Now there's stuff on this list that I don't even think should be put up against a show, because Bob's Burgers has 280 episodes. Family Guy has 435 episodes. That's not going to, how do you compete with the show that's got 8 episodes and is brand new when you've got 435 episodes that you can go choose from and has been in syndication for decades? How do you put those two things on the same chart? Of course, Family Guy is going to have more hours of streaming because there's so much more content to choose from. They're not apples to apples.
I'm glad that you're bringing this up. I was thinking about this just today because of how good the series is and how bad that I want a season 2 to happen. But really I don't know if we're going to get one.
And this is, so let me keep going because I'm going there, and this is part of my problem. So let's switch over to, and this is being reported on Variety, but it says presented by Luminate. So these are Luminate's numbers, right? So in order, Landman, Squid Game, Squid Game season 2, mind you, Missing You, Virgin River. Now this is Virgin River season 6, Squid Game season 1, Lioness season 2, No Good Deed, Selling the City, Black Doves, Lioness season 1. Again, you've got multiple seasons of something that are competing with it. Again, it's not apples to apples. How do you have something with 6 seasons, more hours available to compete against a show that's only got 8 episodes? Like, how do you even put that on the same chart? And like, there's shows on here where, like, obviously not Squid Game, but there's shows on these charts like parents are plunking their kid down with an iPad in front of them for hours a day, babysitting. And of course, that's going to rack up more time than a show that people are going to sit down and watch once and then move on until the next week, right? Like, especially on when it's first week of airing and it hasn't had time to get watched again and again and again. So the problem is the everybody, I don't know anyone that has negative sentiment other than the haters, like, and I'm not paying attention to them, but I don't know anybody that's got anything negative to say about Skeleton Crew. You go look at the sentiment in the community and it is universally positive. I posted
no haters this time.
I posted a picture without context of a B-Wing and I woke up to 3 screens worth of comments in my DMs that were all like, hell yeah, kind of things. Like everybody was freaking out about that last episode last night. It is largely universally positive comments about the show. But the problem is that positive sentiment doesn't translate in the boardroom of Disney the way that Nielsen's ratings do.
Right. Unfortunately, I think that Skeleton Crew is going to suffer the same fate as Solo.
Yeah.
And
Which was
largely
also great.
Largely it's due to unfortunately the backlash from the divisiveness of the previous show. In this case, show Acolyte was so divisive.
Yeah.
Acolyte was so
and
volatile
and
that
check
it's caused this.
and check this
In
out.
my opinion.
So to underscore how skewed this is, and this is the last like point that I made notes on, it's part of my rant here. Like, it's clear that the overall sentiment is positive, right? Like, then how is it that in all of both Star Wars and Marvel, 2 franchises here, in all of Star Wars and Marvel, now keeping in mind that in both of these franchises, now regardless of what you thought about the shows, like that, but within these franchises, we've got shows like Acolyte and Echo, both of which got some seriously bad press, right? Again, it's not my personal commentary. I'm just saying, factually, those shows got bad press.
Right.
You meant She-Hulk, yeah.
And She-Hulk. Sure, Brian. Sure. But regardless, like I said, it doesn't even matter what anybody here thinks about those shows. Like, they were largely panned, right? Like, this, of all things, is the only show in both franchises in the history of Disney Plus that has never had one episode show up in the top 10 of either of these charts. Let that sink in.
Do you think
This
people
show-
have a hangover? Like they have a hangover from the last
That's what Stevie was saying. Yeah. This show that we all think is fantastic, that we're all talking to each other in our group chat with exclamation points and high fives, is the only show in all of Star Wars and Marvel that has never had an episode show up in the top 10 of either of these 2 data providers' charts, when we've got things like your She-Hulk on the list. How does that happen? How does that happen? That's what I'm calling shenanigans. Like, I'm blaming the data providers because they're putting stuff like frickin' Family Guy that's been around for 2 decades on the list with it. And Disney's not looking at it with that lens. They're just saying, I didn't get as many hours that week as they did.
Okay, but let's look at so the Nielsen numbers, right? You said they're up to episode 2.
Yeah, they're many weeks behind compared to.
How do those minutes for the Nielsen how do the Nielsen minutes stack up against just the other Star Wars shows? That's how, if I'm Lucasfilm, that's what I'm looking
Like,
at.
did Skeleton Crew
Fair.
do better or worse than the other ones in the Nielsen ratings? Is that what you're saying?
That's fair, and I don't have that in front of me. I did talk about this a couple of weeks ago. Nielsen wasn't on the chart at all yet, but Luminate did have some numbers, and I had that stat in there. Then I'd have to go back to my notes and look. But like I had a number for Skeleton Crew as of that week relative to Acolyte as of like its relative week at that time. Like, and they were like, even Acolyte had done better. Like Acolyte's week 2, for example, did way better than Skeleton Crew's week 2, for example. I'm just making that up. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that was kind of the example,
Dude,
right?
Everything's probably paid off, just like everything else in the world. It's probably paid off.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also that. But
Give us a higher rating. Here's a kickback.
Now I think the folks in the hallways at Lucasfilm have heard the message that we like this show better. I guarantee you they've heard that. I know
We're getting a second season for sure. I'd bet on it.
Yeah. Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And
I
based on the deliberate naming of there's been a terminology shift from series to season.
Season finale, not
That's not an
series finale.
That's not an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It's gotta be A, if they're only up to episode 2, that's a problem. And then B, I would imagine the casual fans, right? Who are the volume of watchers, let's be honest. The casual fans are the volume of people that watch these shows. I would imagine they just have a hangover after Acolyte and they just like gave up. They saw a new Star Wars show and went, or they went, it's kids.
Yeah. And I do remember when we talked about this the last time, I was predicting that there's probably a decent number of people that are saying, listen, holiday season got a lot going on. I'm going to wait till all 8 are out and then I'm just going to binge it, which is probably not far from the truth for a decent volume of people. So we'll see if this number jumps at all. But it would be a different chart that would show up on. And I don't even know if that's one that anybody's paying attention to or if it even exists. That would be like total watch time, like somewhere else. It's not even like this weekly one that would be here that everybody looks at.
Do you know how, okay. I said my piece on why I don't think that they're going to make a season 2. But that's just based on those ratings, those numbers. Financially speaking, if I'm, let's say, Bob Iger, and it's coming down to, is this project going to get greenlit or not? I'm greenlighting Skeleton Crew just based on the fact that a season of Skeleton Crew cost $136 million, whereas a season of Andor cost $290 million. A season of Acolyte cost $230 million. And their most successful show, The Mandalorian, cost right around 120 to 130 million per season. So if I'm looking at the budget here and I've got a show that I'm only spending 120 on and it's bringing these kind of returns
doing better.
And
Yeah.
And I'm getting good press. I'm getting good press from it.
Yeah.
Sounds
People are
like
talking in a good way. Yeah.
That
sounds like a better investment.
That is true. It's a better ROI. And yeah, I mean, look, Andor is expensive, but look how many more episodes we get.
Yeah.
We get 12 as opposed to 8.
Yeah.
So
and Andor's next, right? And that's what comes out next.
Correct.
And well, okay, so I don't know where I heard this. I might have heard this on our show. But when you film a movie in you're in where do they film it? Pinewood. The government gives them 30% back as a tax break. So they're not really spending $290. They're getting 30% back. So
same with Acolyte.
Yeah.
Good point.
No,
yeah.
That was in Pinewood.
I do think we're going to be seeing a lot more things filmed at Pinewood moving on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's settled. We're making season 2.
I mean, yeah, if they don't, we will.
We're making
let's put that out there.
I mean, they're listening to us. You already said they're listening to us and they know we like it. So there's
a character from the show right here.
I mean, that's right.
Big time. It's $5 for an autograph.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
On Lanupa, getting Swifty.
Getting Swifty, bro. You don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I probably should have saved that one for the end because I'm all fired up. But these ratings companies, I don't know.
Conversations with Echo.
I like this show, and I don't like the optics that
this is the news, Brian.
I don't like the optics that these companies kind of have the ability to wield by putting these numbers out there like that. It's just not. It gives them a little bit too much power. So.
Well, with how divisive Acolyte was too, there was probably a lot of people watching it, giving it ratings, honestly, because they just wanted to watch. It was like a car crash.
Yeah.
You know what's Raimi? You know what's gonna help is when we go to celebrations and conventions, specifically Celebration, and we wear those costumes, and we have those costumes walking around like we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna show the producers and the filmmakers and the magic makers. It's gonna show them what we're into. So
are we doing that? Are we doing that thing that we discussed?
100%.
Talking about Acolyte.
Have we found enough participants to pull that off?
What do you? What?
Because within your household, you only have half of what we need.
What the heck?
Well, we got Georgie and Kim. They're kind of short.
That's fair.
Steve-
We got to get
Steven's
them to
gonna-
sign off on that.
Steven's gonna dress up like a witch.
No, that's you're. We're talking about something different, right?
Oh, that's right. The thing. Yeah.
The thing,
sorry.
the thing,
Skeleton
the thing.
Crew, bro.
Yeah.
The skeleton crew.
Skeleton Crew.
Thing. All right, I'm moving on. Okay, our friends over at Entertainment Weekly have an excerpt from an upcoming Star Wars novel that I didn't know was coming, but I'm actually pretty excited about, centering around Andor favorite Mon Mothma. Steph's going to drop the link in the chat here any second now. So this is the first release in what's going to be a trilogy of books. The overarching trilogy is titled Reign of the Empire, but this installment's called The Mask of Fear and centers around the political challenges that Mon Mothma faces in the first year of the Empire's reign. So written by Alexander Freed, who wrote Alphabet Squadron and Battlefront Twilight Company. So this thing includes characters Mon Mothma, obviously, Bail Organa, and fan favorite not Saw Gerrera. So I'm not going to get into it, but Entertainment Weekly has a pretty long excerpt over on their site, so go check it out. The book hits bookshelves on February 25th, and it's actually up for pre-order in plenty of places. So I'm kind of an audiobook guy, so I'm actually curious who's going to do the narration for this. I hope it's somebody good. So
Who's the
Morgan Freeman. That's my vote.
well, it centers on Mon Mothma, so I'm actually hoping that they get a good female.
I love these political books, like the one with Leia. Yeah, I love these ones.
Yeah. Mark Thompson does a lot of the narration, and he's great. Like, I mean, he is the voice of Thrawn in my head. And I tell him that every time I get the opportunity to talk to him. Like when we do the telethons, he's always on there. But there's some good female narrators too. Like when they get Catherine Tabor to do the ones for like the Padme books, like you're literally hearing like the voice of Padme doing the Padme. Those are great. Okay. Let me double check here. Okay. The rest of what I've got are rumors. We don't have a bumper for like Wreckers rumors or anything like that, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, do we? Okay. Now's the time. I love that we figured out that if you play the Kids Bop version of the songs, YouTube does not shut us down.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say, what the heck is that?
The YouTube doesn't catch us for the Kids Bop songs.
Oh my god.
No way.
I thought that was like the Bengals or something.
Wow.
Kid Bop for the win.
Genius.
Gaming the system. Okay. Okay, so first up in the rumor mill. So this one's actually been picked up by pretty much all of the reputable trade magazines. So this is a rumor until it's official, but seems pretty certain. Scottish actor Rory McCann, best known for playing the Hound on Game of Thrones, is rumored to be tapped to replace Ray Stevenson as Balin Skull on Ahsoka Season 2. McCann's other recent work includes Gladiator 2, Edgar Wright's Hot Fuzz, XXX Return of Xander Cage, and Jumanji: The Next Level, among other projects. I actually didn't know about some of that stuff.
Jumanji.
Yeah. I think that I've seen that pretty much universally considered a good pick. I'm actually not watched Game of Thrones.
Me
Kind of not my bag.
Same.
But
I don't know
but-
who he is.
Yeah.
me neither.
I mean, he kind of looks.
What?
I've
It's
seen,
Clegane. It's Clegane.
I've seen plenty of pictures. Looks like he'll fit the bill, and
Dude.
I've not seen anybody
He's
bag
badass.
on the pick. Yeah, it looks
He's
like it's
awesome.
a good pick.
That's probably the best pick they could have done. He does stage combat. He knows how to fight. He was a knight in Game of Thrones. And he was a total
Oh, killer.
badass. Yeah,
That's
he
good
was
to know.
amazing.
Cool.
I've
That's
not
a
watched
good
the
pick.
Thrones.
That's
I don't know
all
how they'll
need.
make him. Yeah, I don't know how they'll make him up to look, or maybe they'll explain something. But the dude is solid. Perfect choice.
John Calamari
yeah.
approved.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
see the resemblance. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm sure-
I've-
and that's him with makeup. So he's
Mhm.
not. He doesn't have
little
that
gray, little gray in the beard. It'll be good.
no, and I
Yeah.
honestly I've seen some more recent pictures than this, and he actually looks like he's got some more natural gray in there. So whether they add any more or not,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
even know
10
if it
years ago.
matters. Yeah,
Mm.
What's his real name?
Rory McCann. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Rory McCann.
I only know him as Clegane.
Yeah, it's Clegane, and he's the
Clegane.
Hound's
He was
brother, right?
he was so good in that role.
The Hound.
Dude. That's why I'm like, if that's all we have to go off, yes, absolutely. He was awesome, awesome
Mhm.
dude.
The GOT.
Good
Yeah.
enough for me.
I mean, it was pretty clear that they were setting Balin's skull up for some pretty serious storyline in season 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The way they left it at the end of season 1, so there was no way they were going to get away with not recasting the character. So
Yeah.
I heard a rumor too that they're recasting Black Panther.
I heard that.
I heard
I
that,
heard that
too.
too. I heard that they offered it to somebody, and he said, "No way, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole
Yeah,
because
that's a
I am not going to
sensitive,
follow that up." Yeah,
That is tough.
Yeah.
Really tough.
yeah,
Yeah, that's pressure. But this is a new character. I feel like there's more room to grow, and you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it only had that
Ray
one
definitely.
season.
Yeah, I mean, Ray definitely built the identity. You know, he portrayed it excellently. But I think this dude's gonna, you know, kill it. He's gonna do.
There's
great.
not enough hours on screen of Ray to make it that negative, right? 'Cause,
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it was a season of a show, but it's not like it was just him all the time. He just
Right.
had
look at
like
that.
if you added up
Thick
all
beard.
the minutes, if you added up
Yeah.
all the minutes of time, like Balin was in
Yeah, yeah.
Ahsoka, like it's
It was
not
very
probably
short.
that long. Yeah.
But look at this dude. Yeah, thick beard. They'll pop a wig on him.
Oh, for
They'll
sure.
either dye the beard or whatever. He's
Yeah.
he's perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome choice.
Love it.
Pop a wig.
And he's
Good to
tall.
hear.
He's huge. Big
Perfect.
dude. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, we're going on rumors. So, seeing plenty of chatter that Hayden Christensen's going to be having a larger role in flashback sequences in Ahsoka season 2. That one seems like a bit of a no-brainer. After how well those sequences were done in season
Dude, so
1.
good.
Obviously, Ariana Greenblatt would be the young Ahsoka in all of those sequences as well. She did
So good.
fantastic.
She crushed
I
it.
mean, honestly, like Rosario has kind of grown on me the more time I've had with Ahsoka, but I'll tell you what, Ariana Greenblatt is young Ahsoka.
100%.
For as much as I am attached to Ashley as being Ahsoka, Ariana Greenblatt is young Ahsoka is in live action for sure. She did great for as little screen time as she had. The other rumor that is attached to that though is that Ewan McGregor is actually going to be making appearances in those flashbacks as Obi-Wan.
I saw that too.
So yeah.
Damn.
Somewhere.
Hello there.
Mm-hmm.
Hello
there.
there.
And both Hayden and Ewan have been campaigning for this very vocally, saying that they want Hayden has been saying he wants to see Obi-Wan in those scenes with him, and Obi-Wan has been saying, "Oh, I'd love to have the armor like Hayden had," and so they've been playing off of each other at conventions and stuff like that, and saying that they wanted to do it. I think if nothing else, they're trying to manifest it into existence, whether it's true or not. So
I mean, they're fan favorites, and I'm sure they had a blast when they made
No
Obi-Wan.
brainer.
So
Yeah.
makes sense.
yeah. Honestly, I feel like they've got more chemistry. They've got better chemistry now than even when they worked together years ago, and it's just building and building, and it's
Yeah.
Well, because
it's good.
imagine this: years ago, they had no idea if people were going to love it or not, and for the most part, people made fun of it. Now everyone's,
Yeah,
batshit crazy for it.
yeah.
Yep.
And they get paid.
Mm.
Forget Ahsoka season 2. Just give me a
Give me a
Clone
Clone Wars show.
Give me a
yeah.
Clone Wars movie.
Yep.
I don't want a mini series. I don't want
You don't want
Live
8
action
hours.
movie.
You
I don't want
just
4 to
2?
8 hours. I want a two
Two and a half.
hour. I want a 2.5 hour movie starring Ariana Greenblatt, Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, Tamora Morrison, and Sam Witwer.
Oh, wait,
Give me
you
that.
mean
Oh, damn.
Killer.
Damn,
Give me-
son.
I want some untold Clone Wars adventure that happened. Maybe a mission or something or whatever. Just give me that.
Throw in Katie Sackhoff too.
Why
While we're
not?
at it.
You know what I'm
Why
saying?
not?
Why
While
not?
we're at it.
Exactly.
Put Ezra in there. Put Jabba the Hutt.
Who could play Asajj Ventress? Who would be your live action Asajj?
Oh, that's a good question, Luke.
Angelina
Dang.
Jolie.
Angelina Jolie.
That's
I mean,
that's actually not
actually-
bad.
That's not a
Actually-
bad choice. That's
she's
not
got
a
the
bad choice.
cheekbones and
She's
like,
got the facial
look,
structure, yeah,
you know.
and the eyes.
What was
Shave
that?
her
What was that
head.
Disney movie that she did? Maleficent.
Oh, yeah.
Maleficent, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Wow,
not bad.
that's a
not bad.
great.
That's a good
Wow.
one off the cuff
Dang,
for sure.
Yeah,
Visage,
you can
yeah.
you can go ahead and hire me for casting.
Hire the Black
Well,
Widow.
now, no, all I can think about is Angelina Jolie. Now I can't think of another.
Oh man, that is good, Brian.
It
That's
is
what I'm
good.
saying.
Come on, we can't let him just have that. We gotta, we gotta
Gotta
come
make
up
him
with
work.
something else.
Gotta make him work for it.
Yeah,
Look at that,
yeah.
just right off the top,
Just
right
not
off
out
the
the
tip of the
gate.
tongue.
Dear Lord, somebody in the chat, please.
Someone say a name.
Somebody get it. I need a napkin on my
Somebody,
tongue.
we gotta get one over on him. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Nate says TJ, drop it like it's hot on. I mean, in the cosplay community, I mean, she does a great.
Yeah.
TJ Marino, she does a great.
She has a cool massage, yeah.
Does a great Ventress.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
well,
Okay. Continuing with rumors. So now this last one is interesting, and this is definitely going off the deep end as far as rumors are concerned. But we're gonna go there anyways.
I
So
like it. I like it.
Pour the
Ed-
tea.
yeah, we're off the reservation now. So this is for the Mandalorian and Grogu film, and this one I've got like very varying degrees of crazy for this one. So today's rumor on this one is that the big baddie in the film is none other than the Kyuzo species Clone Wars bounty hunter Embo.
I saw that.
So yeah, this was going around on the socials today. So fun fact, Embo was voiced by Dave Filoni in the show, and would be for this as well. So to take it even deeper, as the rumor goes, specifically what's been rumored, and this was not necessarily in all of the Instagram posts flying around.
I'm gonna agree.
Specifically that Embo, the storyline is that Embo's kidnapped Rhoda the Hutt, and Din and Grogu are actually hired to go get him back. Now, first off, how the heck does this kid get kidnapped twice?
Again? Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
How old is he
look,
now?
Listen, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what I found. So, and Jabba's dead, so I don't know who's putting the bounty up to get him. I mean, honestly,
Baby mama.
this plot sort of raises more questions than I had before, but this is what I've discovered. So, so we shall see. But
Yeah, I don't think Embo's bad enough. Just like Nate's saying, like I feel like he's kind of like not like a like he's kind of a mid-tier baddie. Not really
Oof. I'm gonna go with Thanos and say I don't even remember him. but-
We figured this out.
no, he's pretty cool. I like when he takes
Don't
his
even
hat
know your
off and
name.
like
Don't even
like
know your name.
He like snowboards on that hat. Luke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for
I
real.
don't know. who
Really?
you are.
Oh, okay.
He does.
Oh, I
yeah.
should- Yeah. I mean, he looks amazing. I love.
It's
the
a
design.
dope design.
Yeah.
Why just Luke? I just came from snowboarding. I'm literally driving home from snowboarding right now. You could say Luke.
Oh,
and
that's why you're
Brian.
not on the pod. That's why you're late.
Yeah.
Somebody unpinned the message in our private chat, but we figured out the age of Hondo.
Oh,
Remember?
Yeah.
So
80s, right?
we
He's
should
in his
we should
80s.
during, but no, that was 80s during.
During Skeleton Crew.
No,
No,
which
Skeleton Crew,
is-
he was 60.
he's in his 80s during the Galaxy's Edge.
Oh,
Like, he
right.
was Smuggler's
60s,
Run.
60s,
Yeah.
He was 55 to 60 during Skeleton Crew, which means that Stinky would be about in his mid 40s. No, early 40s. So mid 30s to early 40s.
I mean, he's younger than Grogu.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't.
Yeah. So he'd be about 35.
some of these aliens, you don't know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So he's a 35-year-old Hutt who got kidnapped.
But 35
Well,
could be like dog years. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Grogu was 50, so who the heck knows?
I mean, Chewbacca's like 800 years old or something, right? Like
Grogu is reverse dog years. Like
Yeah.
he's
got
a
Benjamin
baby
Button.
forever. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
50. He's still a baby.
Benjamin Button disease.
yeah, I was gonna say, what if Grogu and Yoda's species is actually like Benjamin Button?
They talk backwards, so they age backwards.
Exactly.
yeah.
That explains so much.
Oh, that's so funny.
All right.
Oh.
I'm gonna spare everybody. That is it for the news.
Thank you, Raimi. That's the longest news ever.
It has.
Damn,
been a
y'all
long
just
one,
on the
I know.
news still?
That was a long one. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's what she
I thought I
said.
missed the whole show.
This garbage is nothing like clone armor.
Looks a little tight on you, old man.
Yeah, at least I know how to wear it.
That's right, everybody. It's time for the weekly workbench. All right, gentlemen, who is working on what?
Oh,
Oh.
I'm not working on too much right now. I did manage to prime these bad boys. I don't know if you could see. For people listening, these are 10.
Lumps of coal?
What's that?
Lumps of coal?
Yeah, it looks like lumps of coal. They're just 10 Primaris intercessors, Space Marines, minis that I primed. And I'm actually building, it's not a costume, but we were gifted a Lego, shoot, what's it called now? I don't remember the name. It's the Mon Cal ship, the Home One, the cruiser, I'm not even sure what the actual correct name is.
I think they're just Mon Calamari cruisers.
No, it has a name. It's called the Home One, but it's like something cruiser. I don't know. Anyway, building that with Amy, we're like 2 bags in out of 5, and it's been really fun. And it's
Nice.
like super intricate, and there's an A-wing in there, and little compartments and things that are like, I guess eventually you're gonna pull that out of the ship, whatever. But
Damn.
that's been fun with Amy. She's like, I like this. I'm like, yeah, we can get more.
Perfect.
Nice.
More Legos, yeah. But I don't have anything else. Just regular stuff. Oh, you know what I did get? I got I got my Nikto mask back that I used to use for I'm a Gundai.
He's so
I-
happy.
He is so happy. Hold on, let me grab him. Hold on.
Except for that look on his face.
Well, no, I'm just saying like his
All
we
right.
were gonna do these together. He was gonna do I'm a Gundy and
Yep.
or I'm a Gundai, and I was doing Plo.
Yeah.
Well, we
yeah,
never
this
trooped.
is- Well, I think by the time I got my I'm a Gundai finished, you were like kind of worn out with your Plo.
Oh,
Because you were like, because I remember I did a troop with you guys once, and I wasn't I'm a Gundai, but you were Plo, and you were like pulling
I might sell
all the
Plo.
sweat out of your thing.
You still have it, Steven?
Yeah, I know it's one of those things. Sorry to hijack, John, but I've been thinking about it because like I've been clearing out the garage and the costumes. I'm just like, man, I don't really want to wear Plo anymore. It's
It's
so
a good
like
costume, but it's uncomfortable. I mean,
it's beautiful, but it's just torture.
Mm.
and to answer your question, Nate, I plan on playing, but I don't have enough yet. I need to build a 2,000 point army, which I don't really know much about, but each figure has a value, and you build up to 2,000 points, whatever. So yeah, eventually I'll play. But tonight-
Nerd!
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of nerd, hey John, I looked it up. It's an MC-80 class cruiser.
That is
There it
so
is.
uneventful.
No, but the name on the box, it's like battle.
It has like a name like the Cinder or something like that.
No, I don't think it's quite like the Onyx Cinder either. It's
Squid ship.
damn it,
John 1.
It's called the
John.
Home One Star Cruiser, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah,
John
But it's been-
Calamari
Cruiser.
cruiser.
yeah, it's my ship. It's been awesome. It's been great. Yeah, the Home One Star Cruiser.
All right.
Home
Cool.
One Star Cruiser. That's it. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. Lego.
Nice.
Thank you, Niels. Oh, and I guess that's it.
Oh, geez. Okay. I have been, well, aside from working on I've been very busy working on this project that I talked about at the top of the show with Mike. Also been working on, I think I talked about, I'm working on Kevin Flynn from Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
I think I talked about that on the show.
A little bit.
Yeah, so I've got the jacket in the various stages of completion hanging not terribly far from me. One of the things that I do have I like within reach is I have found a solution for so the edges of the jacket, so like around the collar and the front and around the bottom and all the different like flaps of the jacket and around the cuffs and around the hood, it's all illuminated. right? Like, so like there's literally, and I don't know how they achieved the effect on the show. It was probably just like, I don't know. I don't know if they rotoscoped it or what, but obviously in order to do this in the real world, I've got to come up with some other way to do it. So
That's bright.
I found this LED strip that is super high density. Like, it's not just hundreds of little LEDs in here, it's thousands of them. I think there's 1,050 of them or something crazy.
Oh
like,
my god.
per, like, instead of like 144 or whatever there would normally be. And so like I'm gonna line, like, this whole thing is just like stupid bright. But I can cut this and I can splice it together and I can literally like line the edges of the jacket with this underneath a layer of white fabric so that it'll make that white strip of fabric sort of glow the way
I need a
that,
link. I need a link to that, Ramey, please.
I got you.
You're
And
gonna
they
look
do
like one of
they
those
do
drones
make it
flying around out there.
so this is pretty thin, but I'm going to put it behind a strip of white fabric that's the right thickness, so that it'll essentially kind of make the strip of fabric sort of glow to diffuse the fabric. They do make it thicker, but the problem with that is it jumps from 12 volts to either 28 or even 48 volts, which turns it into a beast of a power supply problem. For like a convention, it's just not feasible. So I'm trying to keep it at 12 volts, so I have half a chance of actually running it off of batteries instead of being plugged in. So, so I'm sticking with the thinner stuff so that I can keep it practical. The jacket's just got a bunch of crazy details. I'm fortunate they had this thing on display at D23 several years ago before COVID, and I was able to get like lots of close-up pictures of the jacket. So, and I have them like literally on my phone still. So, thankfully I'm using those as reference.
Nice.
That's
cool,
it for
man.
me.
Cool.
That'd be,
Amazing.
that'd be perfect to wear when the next Tron movie comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the beard. As long as I keep the hood up, like, I mean, he obviously wasn't bald, but like as long as I keep the hood up the way that he has when he makes his entrance with that jacket kind of for the first time, I basically like kind of look just like him, so I can pull it off.
Right on, dude.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh boy. I actually started kind of tooling around with my tank trooper again. I got it to the point where I just needed to submit photos for it for getting approved for the garrison and the 501st, and I never did that. And within that time, I had pulled out my helmet again, and I had printed and then built and finished the helmet well before I had finished the armor. And the weathering jobs like just weren't totally matching up, and I wasn't super happy with it when I like initially did it. And there were a couple of like fit things I had to finish on the armor after I had initially like tried it on like months and months and months ago when it did kind of get finished. So, you know, as we do, we go back to the drawing board and we tweak. And so this week I repainted my tank trooper helmet and then re-weathered it like over the last couple of nights. And then today I took it out into the snow on a little lunch break up the road from my house. I drove up to some snow and put the tank trooper on and took some photos of it and took photos for submitting for approval, which was kind of job number one, find a cool like spot to take photos with it.
Wait, you took your submission photos by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're brave.
Shore Trooper, Vader, and then I redid some Boba Fett stuff and I resubmitted it. All three of those were submitted by me.
You took your own photo for Vader?
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
He has
No, I
glitter.
do. Why is this surprising to you?
Well, no, because like your GML must be very lenient because it's like
Oh no, I mean he also follows me on Instagram, so he knows I get pretty high resolution shots if I need them. So I take close-ups of everything, and he actually, when I submitted my Shore Trooper, like wanted to see the boot up close. So yeah, he goes through all the necessary steps.
okay, so
but-
you're not going for like first approval or approval on first submission kind of thing. right?
No, I mean I did. My Vader got through on the first try, and then my Shore Trooper, like, I mean, it did. He just asked to see the boots on that one. I don't think it was ever like selfie photo quality though. As far as like setting up a tripod and snapping a photo, I think is just the same job somebody would do holding my camera, taking the same
Yeah.
exact photo with the same camera anyway. So yeah, I mean that wouldn't be, I think, what would fall into question for like the costume. For me, the Tank Trooper, before I had submitted that months ago when I technically had thought I had finished it, but again, wasn't happy with my own weathering. My buckles, I had noticed, were too high where they sit on the Tank Trooper armor. So that was something that I caught before I even submitted it and was like, oh, I got to redo that anyway. And I'm not happy with the paint. I kind of want to like repaint the helmet. And so it just like sat, as we have those projects that do just kind of sit on the back burner. But yeah, I picked it up this week for whatever reason, like was started to like tinker around with it, ended up repainting it, and then threw it on today to submit some photos for it and stuff. So it was cool. And actually too, like, I recently like ordered these bags from Heroes and Villains that are like their travel packing cube bags. And I've been using those to store armor pieces in, like gauntlets, and I've got one for like my boots for my for my Tank Trooper. Yeah, so like I took those out with me and I took some photos of that gear to like send to those guys and post and stuff, give them some love. So yeah, it was cool. It was a cool little lunch break trip. Get out into the woods and put on the old armor, man. ABS armor is crazy.
There goes Luke on his lunch break again.
Yeah.
You haven't shared. I mean, we've seen them. You haven't shared the Heroes and Villains pictures that you did, though, right? Yeah.
No,
They came out so good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun little mission to take some photos and stuff. So, yeah, and I hope the suit gets approved. I do see little things also that I just am gonna end up tweaking on it. I think that are more of like a fit than any sort of like accuracy thing. But never know when you submit stuff like that. So, like you said, Steven, sometimes it takes multiple times to get approved, which totally cool with.
Raimi, I mean, you would be more privy to this information, but does anyone really get, other than you, does anyone really get approval on their first submission?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've gotten on Kanan, gotten on Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
Got it on my clone.
It just depends. Listen, they don't just shoot you down outright out of like spite. Like if your costume meets muster, you'll get approved. Like it's just
if it looks the part, you get it. Yeah.
I think I'm to the point now where I have the eye that I can look at what I'm going to submit and I know if it's going to make it or not.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm guessing Luke's been around longer than I have as far as the club's concerned. I'm sure he can do the same thing.
I've had a costume kicked back because the shoulder wasn't put on high enough or something.
Yeah,
I've had Mando stuff kicked back. You guys remember that old Mando gate?
The slouch gate.
Yeah, the slouch gate. Yeah, but
yeah.
So it goes both ways.
That's a different story.
There's reasons for that, but yeah. Some stuff gets approved right away, and some stuff sometimes you have to go back several times.
Yeah, my sand trooper, I had to get a couple things tweaked on it. I had to go back for like a second round approval. So, but yeah, and that's just part of the process too. I don't think that should ever like scare any first. No.
I mean, yeah, we've talked about that on the show before, where it's like, hey, if you're gonna submit to one of the clubs, for the clubs are obviously their number one thing is screen accuracy.
Yep.
Don't get discouraged.
Totally.
That you get an email back saying that, oh, you need to fix this, that, because
Yep, it happens.
It's expected.
Yeah. It happens to everybody, and yes, sometimes you're lucky enough that it goes right through, and then sometimes we've all had those things we need to redo or readjust. So Yeah,
Standard.
that's pretty much it though, man. Other than just making smoothies and all the meals this week for the kiddos. Wifey's out of town this week for work. I was gone last week for work. She's gone this week. Straight Modern Family, bouncing around, doing our thing. So yeah, that's pretty
Nice.
much it for the workbench.
Well, I feel like I had a month off.
You did.
Yeah, so that was pretty nice. I didn't really have to work on anything other than just like, family stuff. I did, however, start a new project this week or last week. And so I was talking with David Neth, Mega Neth,
Mhm.
and we were both kind of like, "Hey, are you gonna do a costume for Japan?" And he's like, "I don't know. Are you gonna do a costume for?" And we were both like, we both came to the conclusion that we wanted to do it. And when we had left London, I know that we all had delusions of grandeur about what all these amazing, awesome things that we were gonna do. But I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Japan needs to see at least one member of the Bad Batch. And then so I just started. I was like, what if Wrecker is going to go to Japan? So I started doing like a Japanese interpretation, almost like a Tamashii Nation, Bandai Tamashii Nation Wrecker. So I got like, I'm piecing it all together. So it's like samurai files, and I'm gonna do like he's gonna have like a robe with the samurai pants and the boots with the shoes with the
Boots with the fur.
Yeah, the boots with the fur. But the cool thing is, and then I'm gonna have the Oni mask, the Wrecker Oni mask that I did before with the tusks and all that. And I think what I'm gonna do, since most of the costume is soft goods, I think I'm gonna leave the hard goods in Japan. So if I meet a fan who's just like all about Bad Batch, all about Wrecker or whatever, they're from Japan or something,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take off the mask and be like, "Here you go, bro. It's
Oh,
yours."
dude.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Maybe
That's
at the not announced thingamabob.
could be. You never know. So
And
Um,
it'll save room for shopping, for bringing stuff back.
bingo.
Bingo. Boom.
But yeah,
That's a
and then
Brian move.
I posted that right away on my socials that I was working on it, and then I guess that kind of got David like in gear, because then like
Got
the
his
next
juices
day,
flowing.
yeah, he's like sculpting a Cad Bane mask out of clay, and
Hand sculpting
crazy.
a Cad Bane Oni mask. It's like, come on.
we're gonna do it,
Oh,
man.
man.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
That's so sick.
So right now, I think out of Dad Batch, I think it's just me and Joe. Honestly, I don't even know if Joe's still working on his cyberpunk tech. So we'll see. He's got a lot going on.
I love the idea of it, but I too want to save room in my bag for shopping over there. But I like the idea of gifting the costume.
Soft goods, dude. Just do soft goods.
Just something soft goods.
That's what Brian did
something soft goods
in,
I think I could
London.
whip up. I just got to
Brian-
figure it out.
And we got to go to the World Expo now, because that's where they're going to have the life-size Gundam.
Oh my god,
Dude, it's
Philip,
like
I heard a rumor. I think I heard at my Garrison meet and greet they had taken it down. That's
And they put it back up at the expo. They
Ooh.
retooled some of the pieces, and they put it back up at the World Expo, which is going to be running when we're there.
we have to go see that.
We're going to see it.
okay,
guys.
We're
guys,
going.
we can
going
miss
from
part
going
of the
from
show is fine with me.
Chiba, to Osaka is like going from like Texas to San Francisco. Like,
Is it really?
it's in the same country, but not everybody knows Snoop Dogg. Okay.
You got to be on Chiba to make that trip.
That's a problem for April Dad Batch. We'll figure it out.
Anyway, yeah, that's all I got
I like
working on. So I think that's all of us. Yeah. Is that all
Yeah.
of us? Yeah.
Brian.
yeah.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah,
fell off
Brian
the
left.
Brian,
Oh,
Brian had to go.
all right. Well, we don't need him right now. It's fine.
Wow.
If you found a real Jedi temple, shouldn't we tell the supervisor or maybe our parents? Why do we have to dig? Because this could be a real adventure. No more pretend.
Bunky Doko indeed. All right, guys, this is the final review for Skeleton Crew, Season 1, Episode 8, The Real Good Guys, directed by John Watts and written by Christopher Ford and John Watts. With a Disney Plus description, a journey filled with adventure comes to a surprising end. We will not only review the final episode, but let's just go over the whole season. We talked a little bit about it at the top of the show, but man, I'll go first and I'll just say, absolutely loved this show. I knew going into it that we were going to be expecting some Goonies vibes, 80s vibes, but I was not prepared for how concise of a story that we were going to get with a beginning, a middle, and an end. It felt like the Star Wars that we've been waiting for. And I say that in the sense that it was just pure fun. Like, we had a lightsaber, we had a kind of Jedi kind of thing going on. We had, droids, we had pirates, we had adventure, we had everything, different planets. I really loved it. And this show will always hold a close and special place in my heart because it's the first piece of Star Wars media that my children, the next generation, were actually like anticipating weekly, like, oh, can we watch Skull Crew tonight? And I love that they made it their own by calling it Skull Crew. And I love that my youngest son gets pissed off every time the credits roll. And he's like, what? That's it? It's shorter this week than it was last week. Like, I absolutely love it. I have nothing bad to say about the entire series. There's a few plot points and plot holes, and there's some minor choices, artistic choices that I probably would not make. But hey, I'm not the one making the show. I'm just sitting back on the sofa watching it. So yeah, like Raimi said earlier, 10 out of 10, would highly recommend. And this is probably going to be one of those shows that is going to be on constant rotation. I feel like it's a show that I can go back and just watch again because it's that entertaining. Plus, John's in it. So, and I'll let you take it, John.
That's my favorite part, that I'm in it. No. Actually, my favorite part, just to throw one out there, is when the last episode, season finale, when Wim was able to get the lightsaber again, and he checked to make sure if it was right side up.
Yeah.
And then he lit it. But at the end, when they kind of have Jod kind of sort of somewhat surrounded, he ignites it, and he's all business, and he's like,
hey, he handled that thing pretty good for a minute there too.
I love that because he was, when they had him looking out in the stars, and he was like, he's about to live his dream, like something's gonna happen with this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And the saber was cool. And I also really loved that Jod was using the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't a trick.
He admitted
it's a sad story.
Mm-hmm.
He was found by a Jedi, and she ended up dying, and they made him watch and all this terrible stuff. And he never had a childhood. Obviously, that's why he was treating the kids so poorly, because he never was treated nicely, I guess.
Yeah.
But I love that it wasn't a trick. They weren't parlor tricks. He was using the Force. Like, he is Force sensitive, and maybe not a Jedi, but
yeah.
And he didn't know how to use a saber either. He was kind of baseball bat swinging it like he was, trying to keep a crowd back or something. It wasn't graceful at all.
He did successfully deflect blaster bolts though.
He did.
Like
He did. Well, because he's got the force. You know,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
force sensitive, and
You know what? He's essentially
He's like a
he's Bizarro, or he's evil
Bizarro
Ezra.
Cal Kestis. Oh,
No, he's evil Ezra,
Mm.
right? Like, was found,
yeah.
but went the other way.
Things went bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No family. No
Never
found
got
family.
the training. Yeah.
Pirates treat him like crap.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it sounds like a Jedi found him after the purge, because he said that like she found me, but she was scrounging. She was scrounging too.
She was worse than me.
So
yeah.
I assume that this was after Order 66, and she
66.
was on the run too.
So he
and-
was
but-
just a
and
kid
she's-
that had the force. Yeah.
Yeah, and she said I had potential, but then they found her, and then they killed her. So I assume
Yeah.
that they were the Inquisitors.
Maybe. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
Who else would it have been?
Yeah. During the Vader
true.
comics, all the Inquisitors were
Mhm.
going out hunting the Jedi. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
and clearly we've seen the
It
Inquisitors
might have even-
in canon now.
It might have
Yeah.
even
Could have been Vader.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
That's cool. And I'm a little disappointed that he was really a scumbag. Because I was kind of hoping he wasn't a scumbag. But by the second to last episode and the last episode, you could tell he's a huge POS, and
Yeah,
he betrayed the kids every chance he had at the end to get him and his homies rich.
he did. Do
You
you
know?
do you
I
feel at
actually
all
like-
sorry for him though?
In a way, because
Yeah.
the way he I guess was brought up, and what he learned was not his fault. I guess he's a victim of his circumstance, and we can all relate to that in one way or another. But yeah, you feel a little sorry for him. But I'm just more disappointed than angry. I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of wish he was a hero and not a anti-hero,
Yeah.
or not a villain. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you,
He was-
John? Oh, sorry, John. Do you think that there's, assuming there's a season 2, do you think there's any salvation for his character, bringing him back after everything he's done?
I don't know if he'll be saved in the way where he'll just become a good guy, and then everyone happily ever after. I bet you he'll be like an anti-hero, sort of like a Hondo, like where he's not bad, but he's not good. Like he won't kill you, but he'll take your money, type of thing, or he'll take your ship or whatever. See you later, until next time, whatever.
It'll be like Jack Sparrow, like, you
Yeah.
again. Well, we need you. You've got skills that we can use, but we're not gonna
But
like
they
it.
got to watch out because he might betray them at any moment. Yeah, I kind of that vibe.
Yeah,
Pirate.
it'll be Jack
pirate.
Jack Sparrow without all the whatever it is. that he's got.
without the marionette hands. Yeah.
I missed the earlier part of the conversation about Skeleton Crew, but I do like, to contrast John a little bit, I do like that they ended up keeping him bad. I think it would have been so easy for them to play to a strength of a kids show or a movie, and have him kind of do the triple cross and come back. And I think we all kind of speculated that too. And he's just so darn charming, such a charming British guy that just makes it seem like he's going to probably switch back at some point. But to me, for the strength of the story, I actually felt like it was cool that he stayed so bad. And maybe I'm in the minority here too, and I'll have to listen back for the first part of the show, but I kind of hope they don't do a season 2. I don't know if that was talked about earlier. I hope it's
But
just
it-
kind of done. As much as I love everything about this show is a 10 out of 10 for me too. I
But
don't
it's
know.
cliffhanger.
It's just what's that?
It got left on a cliffhanger. The New Republic is about to land on the planet. They're not even there yet. The pirates are
What if-
bouncing. Jod is stuck
Yeah.
in the tower there or whatever by himself. He's gonna get arrested or he's gonna escape.
But-
We don't know what's gonna
Well,
happen.
The
but
kids
Yeah,
said-
no. But it kind of ends like some of those 80s movies did that we grew up with, that were just
Like
kind
you-
of
you
like
assume-
you knew the good guys were kind of gonna finish it out. The cops showed
Yeah.
up, the party's busted or whatever.
But it's
Like, you
Star
kinda
Wars.
know-
It can go in any
Here's-
direction.
Oh, of course. And I would be
Yeah.
just as happy with the season 2 for sure. But I think it would be cool if it was just like, oh, that was a
one and
little
done.
snippet of a story we got with some special characters.
Here's the thing we've got to remember with the whole cliffhanger thing. For all of the reasons that we feel it's a cliffhanger, they can't use any of them to give us a season 2, because they've already said, listen, by the time we get a season 2 cranked out, these kids are going to be older.
Yeah.
We have an idea that incorporates the fact that they are older, which
It'll be
means
Jod.
the fact that Jod's on this planet still and the pirates are still there and the
Yeah.
X, like all those things imply that season 2 would pick up right where they left off. Clearly they can't do that.
Mhm.
No, it'll have
So-
to be
so-
years later.
Jump
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Here's-
So there's going
That
to
would
be a
be cool.
4-year time jump.
Okay.
That makes sense.
What if they don't do a season 2? Because think about it, really. Fern is at a place now where she can take over for her mom,
Mhm.
follow in her mom's footsteps and be, a mayoral type person to that community, right?
Mhm.
Neil, dude, come on. Neil could just
What a legend.
he just wants to take a bath, man. He just wants to take a bath. Like seriously.
That kid's taken more baths than we've seen in all of the rest of Star Wars put together.
So fun.
Like, okay, you know what? Neil can be the principal for the school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
that's perfect.
And KB really like KB is just she's cool.
Engineer.
Chief
Yeah,
engineer.
The
Yeah.
only one that I see leaving for more adventures is
Wim, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Let him join the academy.
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
You know what I was hoping?
He's the Omega.
I
Yeah.
was hoping. Oh, you
Yeah.
never know. I was hoping at the end because you know where Jod was using the Force with the dad trying to pull the lever and stuff.
Yeah.
I was so hoping that Wim did something with like where he like and it worked, like where he pushed
Yeah,
Jod
he's
back
like-
or something.
Yeah.
I was hoping something like that happened, but obviously it didn't.
Yeah.
But that'd be cool if he became a Jedi or became more than
Dude, even if even if Wim just becomes like, a pilot or something or
or a
an officer
smuggler.
or whatever,
Yeah.
like
Ends up in
I'm
the
happy with that.
was it the Resistance, right? That's the sequel name.
It's the New Republic.
New Republic,
Republic,
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, like with the Rey timeline, is that
Because the New Republic gets blown out of the
yeah
what was it?
Yeah.
Whatever system.
guy blown out of this yeah.
I don't remember.
Dude, Raimi. I was gonna say something else, but I don't want to cut off Raimi, so go ahead.
No, I wasn't in the process of saying anything. Say it.
No, your review for the season and the episode.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, all of what we're saying. I do hope we get another season. I'll tell you what. I think we could get another season in the form of another show with these characters that's
See,
not
that would be
Skeleton
cool.
Crew season 2. Give us these 4 characters. Give us these 4 kids in a different show.
Yeah.
Like retool it. Like it's not Skeleton Crew season 2. It's a different name, same kids, totally different scenario. Maybe Jod shows up or maybe not. Like I
But-
don't know. It's like
Yeah.
just an entirely different concept or something.
Or
I
if
think they
Jod
would
was
keep
on,
the
like, a
name.
prison- Yeah.
They probably. I mean, that's the reality.
Because
is
it's
they
branding,
probably will,
and
'cause
they
it's
are the
branding.
Skeleton Crew.
Yes.
They are the Skeleton Crew.
That's
I
true.
agree, but format wise, like it could be something.
The
radically
show can
different.
change, but the name's
Yeah.
gonna stay. They're not gonna make that brand and then get rid of it
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
make
Yeah.
another brand.
Now,
True.
listen. I had heard that at one point, Skeleton Crew was going to have some form of a tie-in to the
What-
broader Mandoverse, like with the
Mhm.
whole Thrawn thing.
What happened?
Like
there?
so when
Well,
there's the whole
It
Avengers
was
team
just a
up.
pirate.
No, not that. Like when
Connection
when,
we got, though.
when the culmination of this meets with the Thrawn movie, there's going to be something from Skeleton Crew is going to dovetail into that.
Hmm.
And I don't know
Okay.
what character it is or what, like maybe it's Jude Law, like who knows? I don't know what it would be,
Yeah.
but there was some plan around that at some point. And having watched it now, I'm not sure I could put my finger on what that would be.
Well, the only
Maybe-
common denominator is the pirate that was in Mando. That's it.
Vane?
Well, that's the
Maybe.
common denominator from Mando into
Mando
Skeleton
into
Crew.
Skeleton Crew.
But this
But-
would be a common denominator from Skeleton Crew back into the future. Now
which
now
is the pirate.
anything's no, it could be anything.
It's Jod. Jod's gonna
No,
Jod's
I-
gonna he's gonna start training with Luke.
My
But the
theory
only
is
connection
my
is the
theory is
pirate
it's
right
going
now.
to be my theory is it's going to be At-Aten. There's something about the planet now has
Gonna come
significance
after
that
it.
Thrawn's going to want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money.
Maybe Thrawn wants
Money.
the money or something like that.
Or like Din has to break Jod out of rebellion prison ship or New Republic prison ship or something like that to
It needs
complete a
help or
mission.
something.
Maybe Jod's
Yeah.
the bad guy instead of Embo.
Okay, I was super happy that I was right about the school having a blaster cannon
nailed
on
it.
top.
You nailed it.
That
You
was
nailed it.
yeah, that
Called
was
it.
100%.
And Neil was
Called
like,
it.
"I got this, guys."
I know where to go. Yeah.
Oh God, that's so good.
But I was also equally as disappointed that the supervisor was literally the Wizard of Oz. Like,
Yeah.
it was
yeah,
a droid.
But it
Come
was
on.
smart because it was like,
yeah.
are you the emissary or a Jedi? Like, which one of those is a lie? Like, he
Yeah.
caught Jod, and Jod's
He
like,
was-
screw this.
He was a pretty benevolent droid. I mean, like, he was, you know.
For sure. Yeah, that was a cool scene though. That like where he was just like, "Oh, I knew you were lying."
Yeah.
Guards sees him or whatever,
Mhm.
and
Gotcha.
that was pretty dope. It's
Tricked
actually
him.
pretty rad.
It just
Dude,
Qui-Gon, the damn
B
thing.
wings. We got B wings
With
doing some
lasers.
action moves. Yeah.
We had seen that in
Oh.
what was it? Rebels, I think. The
Yeah.
Rebels finale.
The Rebels one with Hera, where she was like test
Mm.
driving the B-wing, like it had that weapon.
Yeah.
But live action is only Return
This
of
is
the
the-
Jedi, right?
This is
Correct.
the first that we've seen B
Since
wings with
Return of the Jedi.
And actually,
freaking
yeah,
lasers.
stuff with lasers.
That was a cool scene.
Dude, I love that ship design. That's
It's rad.
high-ranking ship design. Yeah, so sick. That was a good toy, like the gyroscoping cockpit. Like that was actually a pretty dope toy design as a kid.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody. I had that when it came out. I had the original Kenner
Oh no
B-wing
way!
toy, like when it came out in the 80s. Like that was
Sick.
one. That's one of the toys that I remember having as a kid.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
Such
that
a
one
good
was
piece.
like that one was a memory that I can put my finger on
Nice.
and remember.
That's so great. Good show. I mean, yeah, I don't mean to sound like I'm hating by saying not a season 2. I just like when I sometimes think about potentials for new seasons, I worry about those characters being, you know, just, I don't know.
Ruined?
It was so good.
Overdone. Yeah. Don't.
Yeah, it was just so perfect. And to Ramey's point about anything they'd have to do would have to be like a jump forward, which I am
Which
okay when
they-
seasons do
They
that.
said, John Watts has said, like, Raimi mentioned this earlier, but yeah, John Watts and Chris Ford have both said they know exactly where the kids would be
That's cool.
if they did a season 2.
I mean, I trust John Watts, dude. Like when I saw he was involved, was so happy to know that was the guy at the helm because
Raimi, what was the thing
That's so
that we talked about where John Watts had the whole panel of directors and they were all like college buddies?
Yeah,
That's
That's-
essentially
that's
essentially what this show is. It's just friends making a movie or a show.
That's true. That's true. So John Watson and the team, like the directors, they all went to school together.
that's so cool.
And so like we're seeing the origin story for the team that created the show essentially. I will say that like
right.
I struggle when they take a character that I either start out liking or at least want to like, aka in this case Jod, right? And then ultimately make me not like them. Like that I really like emotionally struggle with that when that happens in a show. So I'm disappointed that Jod ended up not being a good guy. Although I will say that, and this does not redeem him for what he did. Like, listen, like he put a he put a knife to Fern's throat, right? Like that's like he did some pretty. Now, do I think he would have actually slit her throat? No. That said, he traumatized those kids because in that moment, I know that those kids believed that he would have done it.
No,
We as the viewers don't think he would have done it, but those kids were traumatized.
I
Doesn't
don't know if
change the fact that he did it.
I feel like
So-
they felt betrayed more than afraid of being killed.
Fine, still like you don't
like
mess with
you-
this.
yeah.
It's a difference. Like adults can do that all day long. You don't do that to a child. So
Well, and then there was
Well,
also
but-
putting the lightsaber to the dad's throat
Yeah, but that's
in
the
front
thing.
of the
Yeah,
kid. Like,
Yeah.
dude never had a
so-
childhood. He doesn't know what it's
that-
like to be a child.
so I don't think his character is necessarily redeemable, but I do think that like they gave us a suitable explanation for why he is the way he is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like you understand,
Right.
like.
But that doesn't make it okay. Where he like for what
Oh,
he
for
did,
sure.
that doesn't
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
okay. Like
No,
in
no,
my
no.
eyes, like he should not have done what he did. Now that's up to Fern to make a decision in the future if she's gonna
But
ultimately ever trust him again or not. And maybe
the
we'll see
end
that in
goal for
season
him
2
was
or
never.
whatever.
The end goal for him was never to like gain the trust of these kids or become their friends. He just wants the money. He's a pirate.
Yeah.
Like he's probably killed a bunch of people before. He killed Brutus. Et tu, Brutus.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bro,
Well, I
dude.
feel
in cold
I feel a
blood.
lot. Well, you know what? He killed Brutus, so I feel a lot less bad about him killing another bad
For
guy
sure.
than I do about him putting a knife to a child's
Oh,
throat.
oh, for sure. But look at that. He knew Brutus. That was his first mate or whatever, and he
Mhm.
killed him with no hesitation. And the kids, he had several chances to kill them, and he never did.
Right.
Several times where
I
he was
agree.
like, and he didn't even like made a face like, "Damn it, I can't," type of thing, you know. So it's like,
Yeah.
he was never gonna do it. He he's scaring them enough for them to do what he needs them to do. But I don't think he was ever gonna cut anyone.
When he thought KB, died in the ship,
He was
He was-
bummed.
I
He
agree.
was-
He was genuinely disappointed. Yeah.
That's
it
what
didn't
that's what I
have
was
to
like.
be this way.
Yes.
Right,
I
you know?
I felt like that was a genuine moment for him.
That's why I thought he might come back because I'm like, he has feelings. He's a POS, but it's not directly his fault, and maybe he has a way to maybe recover in a way. But
okay. So, what do you guys think about his smirk at the very end? What do you think it means?
I mean, he's very clever. He's
Did he
gotten out
escape?
of.
He's
Did he
got
escape?
a plan.
He
He's got a
escaped the
plan.
first time.
Yeah.
Right. From the jail,
I mean, he
So-
does have enough of the force that he's going to be able to get away with.
and now that with
Whatever.
the no barrier, you can fly out with any ship. So
Mhm.
that's why he can go in any direction. He can go in any direction.
Who knows his face? Just the parents.
The kids, the droids. I'm sure there's some sort of collective
No, they're down.
hive mind.
The
Oh,
droids
they're
that are still
completely
down.
Mm.
He's got some period of time before they get them back online, no matter what. So
All he has to do is just escape,
Yeah.
and he could tell
Well, the
any of
parents know.
those. The parents of Skeleton Crew know his face, right?
Yeah.
But none of the other members of the community know his face.
Not for the most part. Yeah.
All
Oh,
he
wait,
would have to
did-
do is just
Wait. Didn't he hologram himself out in the city, or was that just audio?
it was
just his
audio
voice.
only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
all he has to do is just come down from the elevator and be like, "Yo, I'm with the Republic."
Yeah.
We're here to
we
save
did
you.
it, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I would love to see more of that. See what happens.
Yeah, I do like him being a 100% pirate. That his character is very ambiguous. Like you don't know if he's going to be good or bad at any given point.
Yeah.
Maybe he does show up in the Mando movie or no.
Yeah.
In the
Mando
Thrawn,
Maybe
the whole Thrawn
movie.
thing.
Yeah.
Maybe he does show up and plays some role or whatever. Maybe he's the one that grabs the gauntlet from Thanos and throws it to Spider-Man. We don't know.
We don't know. Have no way of knowing.
Great show, though.
but yeah.
Great show.
Yeah, such
Yeah.
a good show.
Well done.
10 out of 10.
Luke, did you have a Marvel minute or did you? No.
I did not. It's
Okay.
been a busy week.
Okay, we'll
But-
pick that up next week.
Next week, can we watch the new Daredevil teasery trailery?
Heck
thing?
yes.
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 We will watch Daredevil trailer
Okay.
next week.
Excellent.
We'll give some time for people to catch up on that
Digest that one. Yeah.
for sure.
Excellent.
And I think Brian should be back next week too, right?
Yeah, and he'll want to be
Probably.
here for Daredevil talk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we should save it for him for sure.
Okay.
DD boy.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us today. That was a good show. It's good to be back. 2025.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a crazy year so far.
Mm-hmm.
We're 2 weeks into it.
Jesus.
Did not have this on my bingo card yet.
Nope. My bingo card wasn't even made yet.
Well, I think it's going to do it for us this year. If you enjoyed listening,
See you in 2026, people. Maybe.
feed that algorithm and leave a 5-star review and leave that cake emoji on your podcast app. Guys, we are so close to 1,000 on our YouTube subscribers. We're just a few more away. So please, if you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the show, hit subscribe anyway. You can follow me at Stevie.Kicks on Instagram, sometimes on X. Gentlemen, let the listeners know where they can find you. John?
John Rodriguez FX on Instagram.
And Ramey?
thedadbatch.com.
And Luke?
At Left Coast Avenger.
Right on. Thank you again, everybody, for listening to episode 120 of the Dad Batch podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for episode 121. And until next time, enjoy your spice responsibly.
Ooh. Oh, that's jerky. Okay.
Oh,
Like,
Oh,
what
by
is
the
in
way,
the bag? What is?
I have your jerky, Ramey.
Oh, okay. Cool.